tonight.
It's a sad day for the court and for the country.
A nation divided.
I'm 72 years old. I remember what life was like before Roe.
For some, anger and fear. Others celebrating as a landmark ruling is overturned right in our own backyard.
If we'd had turnout like this for the past 6 weeks, things might be a little different.
Many states already moving to ban abortion. The question now, what could Roe's reversal mean for women here at home? From D.C. to Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia, our live team coverage of this historic day starts now. A live look outside the Supreme Court hours after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. This is a decision that was originally leaked back in early May. The decision strips protections at the national level for patients seeking abortions. That decision now lies with the 50 states and Washington, D.C. The decision drew hundreds of protesters from both sides of the debate today. They started coming as soon as the sun rose, and crowds grew in the minutes and hours after that decision dropped. Good Friday evening. Thanks so much for joining us for WDVM Live at 5. I'm Randy Bass. Emotions running high in the hours that followed that big decision. We jump right back into live team coverage tonight at the Supreme Court. WDVM's Yamari Sase and WDVM's Lex Juarez both standing by. Yamari, how has the mood outside the Supreme Court changed in the few hours that you've been there today?
Yeah, Randy, just a few minutes ago, anti-abortion activists around this corner began expressing their thoughts, and abortion rights activists are not having it. They're going back and forth, but we're going to swing back over to behind me so I can show you that there's still hundreds of people out here advocating and sharing their thoughts, some celebrating and some just infuriated. Now, all those voices are being amplified as the crowd continues to get larger. Now, earlier the atmosphere was a little heated as well as both sides began chanting at each other, but that did not calm down relatively quickly. Now, I was able to speak with someone who's been out here protesting for the past month. Now, she says she's glad to see so many people come back out and fight for abortion rights. Now, I was also able to speak with someone else who says today couldn't be better.
There is a disappointment. If we'd had turnout like this for the past 6 weeks, things might be a little different, but I'm glad that they're here now, and we need to keep fighting because we've got to win our rights back at this point.
We're all obviously overjoyed. Lots of us cried happy tears. We were hugging when we heard the decision, and we knew we had to come down here and celebrate.
Now, earlier today, there weren't as many anti-abortion rights advocates out here, but now they're slowly starting to trickle in. And a lot of people are still coming out here, especially after work. Reporting live in D.C., I'm Yamari Sase.
Yamari, thank you. Continuing our team coverage, we head now to Lex Juarez. Lex, I can imagine it's a pretty tense situation out there. Have you seen anything happening between activists and police or between the two sides of the debate there?
Yeah, Randy, absolutely. You can actually see behind me there is a large crowd of people. There's police standing by. This is where I've seen the most tension in the air today. Of course, there are lots of emotions out here, and this is not something that's been uncommon to our police force for the last few months since that memo was leaked. I'm going to step out of the way. I'm going to let my photographer, Joe, give you a better look at what we have going on here. You can see this group right here. They have got the police monitoring them very closely. There has been a lot of yelling back and forth between these two groups, specifically up here at the corner. And then if we're going to pan over, you can see the crowds, many people starting to come into the area. And then right here in front of the Capitol Police are prepared with multiple vehicles and more backup in case anything goes out of hand. Now, like you said, lots of tensions, and that's because there are strong emotions on both sides of the aisle. And I did speak with one woman who was happy about the decision today, but says that she's disheartened to see so many people who don't agree with her opinion.
Yeah, it's devastating. It's soul crushing. It's extremely sad to think that so many of my peers think that building a better world means killing more babies, or that we can't provide for people. We can't actually build an equal society for women unless we're allowing them to kill their children when they're very young. That is incredibly sad to me.
And now some of the people who I spoke with out here today say, that they have seen and felt the tensions continuing to rise throughout the day. And that woman who you just heard from right there telling me even that once it gets dark outside, she's going to go home and hunker down because she's afraid of what's to come tonight. Of course, we will be out here. The crowds are growing, so we're going to see exactly what does continue out here, and we'll bring some live coverage later tonight. For now, live in Washington, Lex Juarez reporting.
All right, Lex, thank you. Let's get back to the bigger picture here. The states in green are states where abortions are accessible, and the white states are where abortion is not accessible. 13 states already have what are called trigger laws that automatically ban abortion in the event of Roe v. Wade being overturned, as is what happened just hours ago. Women in those 13 states today lost access to critical care. Arkansas, Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. Another half dozen states have near total bans or prohibitions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. And breaking this evening, Montgomery County employees are now banned from official business travel to states restricting abortion. This according to a memo sent out by County Executive Mark Elrich earlier today. 25 states are on the list, including West Virginia, Florida, Ohio, and South Carolina. County Executive Elrich memo says exceptions will be made on a case-by-case basis. Abortion is legal in Maryland. Access to safe and legal abortion will most likely be protected in this state. Earlier this year in Maryland, the General Assembly overrode Governor Hogan's veto that'll allow nurse practitioners, nurse midwives, and trained physician assistants to be able to perform the procedure. Turning now to West Virginia, where Governor Jim Justice applauded the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, saying today, "I applaud the Supreme Court's courageous decision today. I've said many times that I very proudly stand for life, and I am rock solid against abortion, and I believe every human life is a miracle worth protecting." And staying in West Virginia, Senator Shelley Moore Capito said she's released her response to the decision, saying, quote, "By overturning Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey, the Supreme Court has returned this issue to the states to make their own determination. I support this decision, and I would expect West Virginia to support this decision as well." And within hours of that ruling, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin backing a 15-week abortion ban in the Commonwealth. That would be similar to the Mississippi law, which inspired the Supreme Court challenge. Capitol Bureau reporter Jackie DeFusco tells us what the governor wants and whether it's likely to happen.
Well, this heightened police presence here at the state capitol, just one sign of the tense moment that we're in here. Now, notably, Roe versus Wade getting struck down does not immediately impact abortion access here in Virginia, which some have called a safe haven of the South. But with each state now deciding its own fate, that could change if Republicans get their way come winter. Today, calls from the state capitol to defend abortion rights in Virginia. The future now in question, with federal protections struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court.
Is insulting and it is dangerous to every single woman in Virginia.
A razor-thin majority in the Democrat-controlled state Senate standing in the way of recent efforts to pass new abortion restrictions. Senator Jennifer McClellan now pledging to fight back against Governor Glenn Youngkin's push for an abortion ban after 15 weeks of pregnancy.
To the party that professes to care about parental rights, you will not insert yourself in the decision about whether to become a parent in the first place. That is the most fundamental parental right there is. We will not let you take it back.
Youngkin largely staying silent on abortion during this year's session, but celebrating the court's decision as a win for states' rights. Now announcing plans to roll back access after sidestepping questions before the ruling on Tuesday.
Why haven't you been specific in what your plans are to respond in Virginia if Roe v. Wade is overturned?
I am pro-life. I do believe in exceptions in the case of rape and incest and when the mother's life is at risk. And how that translates to what we go forward with, we're going to have to work through. But we need to see the final opinion.
Now wasting no time, Youngkin tapping a group of 4 Republicans to craft legislation. Among them, State Senator Steve Newman, who's hopeful a 15 or 20-week abortion ban can get bipartisan support.
An unborn child feels pain, certainly at 15 weeks. The humanitarian thing is to protect life after pain is felt.
Meantime, in these 13 states, so-called trigger laws now set to take effect almost immediately outlawing abortion with few exceptions. State Senator Amanda Chase says she would support any anti-abortion legislation, but doubting Virginia would go that far for now.
Probably not likely that that would pass in Virginia. We do have a couple of Senate Democrats who are on the fence.
And Governor Glenn Youngkin declining our interview request today, but in a statement he said he expects lawmakers to be prepared to introduce abortion legislation in the General Assembly's next scheduled regular session, which starts in January of 2023. Reporting at the Capitol, I'm Jackie Diffusco.
Jackie, thank you. And in the district, leaders are making a promise to keep abortion safe and accessible, not just to district residents. They're pushing to make that reproductive care available to all, even to people who travel into D.C. from other states seeking abortions. Katie Rhee is live with us to break down the announcement that came from district leaders in the hours that followed the big decision. Katie.
Good evening, Randy. Now, like you said, the district is abortions are legal in the district, but there is one thing standing in the way of that, especially making that legal and safe for everyone traveling here to do so. Now, there is a bill that was introduced earlier this year that would make D.C. a sanctuary city for abortions. And while abortions are still legal, the bill would protect people coming into the district seeking abortions, and it would prevent the district and healthcare providers here from cooperating with out-of-state investigations that would target the person who got an abortion. And while all 13 council members support this bill, Congress has the final say over legislation introduced here in the district, and local leaders aren't happy about it.
There's been a sense of urgency since the ruling was first leaked, so the earliest it could go into effect is September. However, people may still travel to the District of Columbia for abortions even before this bill is enacted. We simply want to make sure that we put every protection in place for them when they do come.
And D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and Congresswoman Eleanor Norton Holmes spoke today alongside Planned Parenthood about what they're doing to keep abortions legal and safe here in the district for everyone. And we'll hear about that at the top of our 6 o'clock news hour. But for now, live reporting in Washington, I'm Katie Rhee.